Children are active in their own development. What does this mean exactly? Well, as a child develops, whether it is in the womb or postnatally experiencing the world around, it is engaging in ways that influence their own development. This is Riley. We will follow Riley through 4 different stages of her young developing years to illustrate how she has actively participated in her own development. Every day, Riley's dad inspires her to be confident and tackle whatever comes her way, and it's up to Riley to stay active in her ability to remain confident and positive.
Even in the womb, Riley is very active in her development. By kicking and moving around, she is exposed to the world around her. Even though sensory stimulation is not high in the womb, researchers have found that moving in the womb provides stimulation for fetuses that helps their brains to develop. By moving around, Riley is creating the proper representation of her body in the sensory cortex part of her brain. Brain activity can occur in the brain without movement, but it is useless unless it is tied to the events in the surrounding world. By Riley rubbing her eyes, she is stimulating the visual cortex in her brain, even though she is not being exposed to visual stimulation such as light. By Riley intaking her mother's amniotic fluid, she is creating her own chemosensory receptors for taste and smell after she is born. There are numerous taste and smell compounds in amniotic fluid that allow her to create these preferences. Riley is actually inhaling more than twice the volume of amniotic fluid than swallowing, which means that she is providing herself with just as much nasal chemosensation. This provides Riley with her likes and dislikes in both taste and smell throughout her childhood. Riley continues to shape her life as she is born and progresses into infancy, where she plays a role in language development.
As an infant, Riley uses babbling as a form of language development. Babies who babble do so primarily because of their ability to hear their own speech. Hearing is a critical aspect of infants' motivation to make early sounds. Riley attends to and learns from her own behaviors, especially in speech, which helps with her language, social, and cognitive development. Riley's babbling is an important step in the acquisition of language because the exploratory motor behaviors, coupled with the sensory feedback that they evoke, help infants to learn to control the muscles that are required to produce behaviors such as speech. At 6 months, Riley is beginning to babble repeated consonant-vowel combinations in long strings. At around 7 months, she is babbling many common sounds in her spoken language. At 10 months, Riley's babbling reflects the sound and intonation patterns of her language community. As Riley gets a little older, language and communication skills are critical to her development. Good communication makes her better able to engage in socialization and to learn from her environment and formal classroom instruction. As Riley becomes a preschooler, she begins to understand and use the rules of language to express possession of something and to connect things. In this phase, Riley's language is becoming more like that of an adult's. She starts to learn names of familiar animals, can repeat digits when given slowly, and learns that all words have meaning.
As a toddler and throughout her preschool years, Riley engages in pretend play. As Riley engages in pretend play, she is actively experimenting with the social and emotional roles of life, as well as gaining cognitive and language skills. There are many benefits to Riley's imaginative play. It will teach her how to take turns, share responsibility, creatively problem solve, and regulate her emotions. Pretend play provides Riley with a variety of problems to solve that she will need to call upon important cognitive thinking skills that she will use in every aspect of life. Through cooperative play, when Riley pretends to be different characters, she is beginning to understand the feelings of others. She is beginning to develop a theory of mind. As Riley plays with toys or friends, she often repeats things she has heard from others she is around, such as her parents, teachers, and peers. The process of imitation helps her understand the power of language. When Riley plays with others, she learns that words give her the means to reenact a story or organize a play. The process of Riley making the connection between spoken and written language will ultimately later help her with learning to read. Riley often engages in roughhouse play with her older brother. Before you think that is a bad thing, think again. Research has shown that within a monitored situation, roughhouse play can actually help develop the frontal lobe, the part of the brain that regulates behavior. The more Riley participates in pretend play, the more likely she is able to regulate her emotions and even more so if she plays with a parent or partner. If Riley is able to have emotional regulation during pretend play, she will be able to have better emotion regulation in her everyday life. As long as Riley is active in imaginative play, she is actively influencing her own development by strengthening her cognitive, language, emotional, and social skills.
Riley also played an active role in her academic achievement, specifically her confidence and her math abilities. Riley uses toys that require children to create and invent their own uses. As she uses different sized building blocks, her brain begins to categorize different quantities. The more she plays with different sized blocks, the more her brain develops quantitatively. She also plays with collections of different but related objects such as coins, buttons, keys, plastic lids, stamps, and nuts and bolts to sort in different ways. This helps children develop early math concepts such as balance, size and shape, sorting, order, pattern, counting, and problem solving. Riley has ample opportunities for unstructured play, which puts her at an advantage as she enters school because this play helps her develop longer attention spans, solve problems on her own, and gain self-confidence. Riley also practices working on her math skills so she would be ready for whatever came her way when she enters grade school. She works on various basic arithmetic problems almost every day in preschool because she realizes the importance of being prepared for grade school. She knew that practice is what would enable her to be successful. As Riley enters grade school, she will indeed be well prepared because of the hard work and practice she has put in during preschool. She should be able to problem solve, reason, and comprehend better than most of the other children in her class. And that was how Riley was active in her own development.